Good evening, everybody. My name is David Loudermilk, and this is my daily lesson plan. We are focusing on 6th grade social science, and we're studying the geography of ancient Greece. So our key concept and theme, students will learn about the geography of ancient Greece, how travel and trade routes were established, and the difficulties that came with these issues. Basically, as they're learning the content matter, what I'm going to be tasking my students with is a problem that is comparable to that of the ancient Greeks based on their geography, and they're going to have to find a constructive and peaceful way to solve this problem. I'm going to allow them the freedom to decide how they're going to craft their assignment, and I'll get to that in just a little bit. For our California Academic Content Standards, for our Health Ed Content Standard, Grade 6, I chose Standard 5. Use a decision-making process to determine a safe course of action in risky situations. And for our Social Science Content Standard, Grade 6, 6.4.1, they're going to discuss the connections between geography and the development of city-states in the region of the Aegean Sea, including patterns of trade and commerce among Greek city-states and within the wider Mediterranean region. I also have listed here a number of Common Core standards, ELD standards. I have my DLP attached to this posting if you'd like to reference it. I'm not going to go over all those just because I know we're a little short on time. As we get into our objectives, learning targets, instructional strategies, and differentiated instruction, so it's like this. When I teach a lesson, I aim to answer two questions. Why is this important, and how does this relate to me as a student? So, as I do this, I'm going to try to appeal to a number of different learning styles in order to get the content matter to soak into them. They're going to be doing methods such as reading, writing, speaking. They'll have some visual aids to look at. And when they create their project, they can do this in any number of ways, whether it's an essay, poster board, multimedia, whatever way shows me that they understood the content and they're finding a way to be creative with it. Here's a number of Sadai techniques and practices that appeals to this lesson. Again, this is on my DLP, which is attached to this posting if you'd like to reference it. The academic language for this unit, it's a number of geographical terms relevant to ancient Greece. If you'd like to reference it in the DLP, which is attached to this posting, you're more than welcome. But let's get to the bread and butter of my lesson. So, our introduction anticipatory set is going to be a quick write. Basically, I'm comparing ancient Greece to the video game Fortnite. The difference is they don't have any weapons, they can't use violence, but they gotta find a way to stay alive and to establish their settlement. By doing this, I'm going to show them that basically their video game, most popular video game right now, is very relevant to our lesson in ancient Greece. So after they're done with the quick write, they'll do a think, pair, share, and I'll have some students also share with the class what the different responses were. As we begin the activity sequence, we're going to be reading a chapter from the textbook aloud. I'll have a single student read a paragraph and then change students as the new paragraph begins. As we learn new vocabulary terms, we'll have a class discussion. I'll call on volunteers to explain to the class what the new terminology means. And I'm also going to post a visual example of this on the projection screen to really give it a three-dimensional view so they have something to reference. As we come to learn more about ancient Greece geography, I compare it to California geography. I find this to be very relevant to them. Since California has such a vast amount of diverse geography, and Greece will only have two things, mountains and valleys, so it gives them a little bit of perspective. Plus, when they traveled in ancient Greece, they didn't have conveniences such as cars, cell phones, or even restaurants when they wanted to stop and eat. Travel was very arduous, and they had to pack everything with them, and these trips could last for months at a time. So I really try to compare it to their everyday lives, different situations, things that maybe they're used to, conveniences that they may take for granted, and share how this is very relevant to them. So, closure, I cover both the formative and summative assessment. Formative assessment is just very basic. They're going to answer some end-of-unit review questions. And then the summative assessment is going to be a project. So they're the leader of an ancient Greek civilization, and their settlement has run out of fertile land. So they can either choose to relocate to another spot on the island, or they can pack up and sail to a different island. Again, Either way, it's fertile land is very scarce in ancient Greece, and competition can turn deadly. They can't choose to go to war since they're not battle ready and they just end up losing, so they need to find a way to stay alive and avoid violence. So they can use any type of project they want to do to complete this. So whether it's an essay, a poster, they want to build a model, or doing something with multimedia, something that shows me that they understand the content and they're using their imaginations to demonstrate that to others. Lastly, just a reflection. A reflection can be a little difficult to do if you haven't taught this. Luckily, I did have the opportunity to teach this a little while ago when I subbed at C.K. Price Intermediate School in Orland. I did teach a section on ancient Greece and the geography of it, and I used some of these concepts such as like Fortnite and California geography to really relate it to them. I didn't have the quick write and I didn't assign the project. Obviously, I was only subbing a day, so I wasn't able to do that. But I found that just the concepts I introduced that I kind of thought of on the fly was it struck a nerve with some of the students, and I got some really good feedback from them and the teacher I subbed for. So, again, thanks for listening. This is video 2 of 2. Sorry I went over a little bit, but here it is, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.